Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Right now, I feel guided to pull some of the sight words that I made for my son. I enjoy the interesting messages that they bring up, so I'm going to pull a few and then I'll pull some tarot. Hope you're doing well today. I actually like to do these kind of upside down, but less distracting that way. Let's see what that is. Got that. That it. Take that. Okay. Let's see what we got in there under the deck. About and I was I was you that. I was about and for some reason I heard hour. I was about an hour that there. I was about there. Let's see. Might need to pull some more from in there. I was that there about this is a tough one. I was there, and I know the difference between theirs, okay, but it's about the phonetic sound or implication, I should say, about there. I was about, see, I hear hour. I was about an hour there from you. That's what I hear. I was, or that was about an hour. And R is like hour. That's what made it just uncovered, but I heard hour when I first pulled the cards. From you. Yeah. I was about, I still keep messing this up. I was about and bless me. Indeed, I was about an hour there from you. The energy I'm getting is someone being in closer proximity. Okay, so it's like somebody was closer to you or closer to getting to you than you even realized. I was about an hour is how I'm hearing this, are there from you. someone was on their way or was en route, and it was. So there was something that stopped that motion, or stopped that transit. These cars, like, y'all probably don't be hearing it, but sometimes I'm like, what am I tapping into? Literally tapping into. All right, so I'm gonna set these to the side. Let's pull some tarot and see, because I don't want to speculate too much. Yeah, and this is the Two of Swords, which is like a crossroads. More so about making a decision, but crossroad energy, oh my gosh, yeah, is what's popping up, you know, what's coming up right now in this moment. You know, that someone, either, this are the two things that I'm hearing. Either someone was en route or on their way to another, and something held them back in their tracks, or there was some diversion from their plan or from their path. Or the adverse of that is that somebody was closer to you than you thought. Like they were, when I'm saying an hour, it doesn't even have to really be that in time frame, you know, but maybe someone was on their way, and I'm feeling, and this is what I felt initially, that someone was on their way for some destructive reason, you know, or some derogatory reason, and they were almost there, but something stopped them in their tracks. So I'm feeling it two different ways, that somebody was approaching, and it could have been for good reason, or it could have been for a bad intention, and something stopped them in their tracks. And then we have this crossroad energy here where this girl's almost like blocked. And sometimes I see this as, you know, the decision-making card, or being resistant to making a decision, or being blind to, or blocked in some way to the choices that you have. And sometimes I see this as like a warrior, you know, that's sitting there with her two swords. You know how sometimes you can see those like samurai warriors, and they can do all types of tricks and stuff blindfolded, you know, and that she may look like a sitting duck, but in actuality, she got two swords in her hand. So she gonna hurt something if you come too close, you know what I mean? So that's the adverse of that. So let's see, I need to get a sip of water because my throat, whenever I pull these sight words out, something strange happens energetically. But I love it. I like it. I do. It feels good. It's like I'm tapping into something else. I don't know what. All right, so let's see. Let's see what messages come up. And Spirit, please keep me connected to where we started with this. Give us something to expound on that makes sense. Spirit, like, I always make sense, girl. It's you that's speaking. Fair enough. Fair enough. Damn, trolling. All right, let's see. Can we get some messages, Spirit, please? I won't control the card flow today, but let's keep it as concise as possible. Oh, that's way too much. Come on. Card's been really giving me a hard time today. I don't know what's up. Too many. Not to start with. Come on. All right, I'm gonna take the next flow. I said I wouldn't control it, but you know I'm a little bit of a controller. All right, I can deal with that. 2, okay. All right, so let's just stay in line here. So this is, matter of fact, that might be too far over. So we got the Eight of Swords. We have we got the Seven of Pentacles, which is about investments. Now this is definitely a blockage card, you know, someone that's blocked and bound in some regard. And there's an investment here, and then the three of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which is about celebrations or reunions of some sort. So there was an investment made, and this is more, it's like there was an incessant investment made too with the Seven of Pentacles, you know, and it's something was done continuously for some a desirable outcome, or something, there was a seed sown over and over again with an expectation for a certain crop. The connection here, to me, the crop is this Eight of Swords, to keep someone bound and blocked from moving forward in some way, but to continuously harvest over that energy of blockage in collaboration, whether it be a third-party collaboration or at least a celebration of the success of this investment, you know, that was yielding some return, right? So in connection to the message, you know, I won't be definitive about it just yet, but just to double back on it, in that adverse energy that I was speaking of, it was like I was almost there to you, like I almost got you, you know, oh, you gotta be quicker than that, you know, type of thing. They was almost there. An hour away is like a very close proximity for a long ass journey, you know what I mean? But something is unpleasurable about the harvest of this crop. So let's see what else we got. Yeah, look, we got the Death card. And this was next. This is the work, the effort that was put forth in that sowing, continuous work, continuous focus on creating something. And here we have the Nine of Cups. That it was for some satisfaction of some sort. Oh, look here. Look here. We got the Five of Wands and we got the High Priestess. It was a secret plan and plot that was not of constructive origins or intentions, you know. So there again, almost had you type of vibe. But who this was, you know, this Eight of Swords was actually the High Priestess. And it goes back to that Two of Swords that I was saying, like someone that looks vulnerable. She's sitting there with her eyes covered and blindfolded, but she has two swords in her hand, you know, and that could be representative always of truth and clarity, you know, and about self, more importantly, so that even when you may look like a sitting duck to other people in that Two of Swords energy, you're actually quite dangerous, you know. And so there was some investment in keeping this energy in this position, you know, keeping a feminine energy disconnected from her divine alignment, from the truth of who she is. They almost keep her identity a secret even to her, about her power and, you know, the impact that she has and can make on, you know, enough that it's enough to be fighting over, because that's what these energies are doing. They're all in competition over this position of power, this investment that has been made. They're all in competition to overpower it or to possess it in some way. Meanwhile, this is how she was looking. This was the true identity, you know. And with the Eight of Swords anyway, it always implies that that's self-imposed. You know, you can easily release yourself from those confinements with just a shift in perspective easily, you know what I mean? And you're out of there. And that probably with given the, yeah, you're out of there, off onto a new beginning. And given the high priestess position here, it's an internal shift of perspective to know the value of your power, that, you know, to see yourself pretty much as other people see you, in a sense, if not better, if not greater. All right, so I was almost an hour there from you. Yeah, I was almost an hour there from you. All right, let's see what else we got. What's after this Nine of Cups? That was the Empress, but it didn't legitimately turn over, so let's keep it going. What's that? Yeah, this is the King of Swords and the King of Cups. So, pardon me, the King of Swords was playing two roles, is what, pardon me, what I hear. To me, is this energy here, you know, this, did I even speak on the Death card? I didn't. I kind of brushed right over that. I really didn't. Now, why is that significant? Because the Death is a major arcana, and it's a complete transformation or a shift of a situation. So where does that come into play? Once again, that blocked and bound situation. That it was to put an end to this person's progression. You know, that was the work, like death magic, ultimately. So to put an actual end, like in the life of a particular person, or to just, you know, end the prosperity of a person, you know, or to just shift, to just transform their life from the way that it was intended to go. So like the disparity between this Eight of Swords and the High Priestess, there's a certain destiny aligned, an outline for a High Priestess that is very prosperous and very sacred. And it was as if that destiny was sacrificed for personal consumption. You know, there was some greed regarding that energy, whereas either individuals that were on the outside looking in wanted to, again, possess it or, you know, repress it. Either way, there was an intention for a demise of that energy one way or another, so that it could not operate in its total power. Okay, if that makes sense. I hope so, because I'm having a hard time today. I had hella interruptions on my last video, which is why I was like, let me switch it up a little bit. And now I'm just feeling a little stifled, but we're going to keep it going. All right. So what's on the other end? So yeah, this King of Swords was playing, he was like a double agent, is what I hear. Like, he was presenting himself to be integral, and that's the value of that High Priestess and of that Eight of Swords. There was some value to this individual, you know, or multiple individuals. Maybe it was two kings at odds, or, you know, in competition with that Five of Wands card, that were in competition to be in possession of that high priestess energy, to be the one to say that they claimed her, or that they control her, or, you know, they they possess her in some way, shape, or form, but it wasn't pure though. It was overindulgent, and for some purposes of, ulterior motive, and some material gain as well off of her energy. And with the King of Cups and the King of Swords here, it could definitely be two kings at odds, or it could be a king that was presenting himself to be honorable in one sense, but was really manipulative in another sense, or even presenting him to be a lover, emotionally manipulative in one sense, was presenting himself to be a lover in one regard, but was really mentally manipulative. Either way, I'm feeling double agent energy here, or something just not being as it seems. Not being what it seems. Especially given our original sight word message, which is, I was almost there, or almost to you. Yeah, here's the Queen of Cups, and here's also the Moon card, which is those secrets and underlying agendas that I spoke of. But again, one thing about it is that the Queen of Cups is coming out in pretty high vibration, because the Queen of Cups is intuitive, so she can see what's under the surface, just as the High Priestess can see behind the veil. So as much as there were secrets to be uncovered, she somehow was clued into her emotional intelligence to be aware, you know what I mean? If nothing else, to be enlightened, to be aware. Even if like that Two of Swords, she might not have been looking like she was in fighting shape or she was in defense mode, but awareness certainly is half the battle, at least awareness of self. There was some awakening to the truth of her emotional intelligence, or through the truth of her emotional intelligence, that was a protective force, and that caused the balance of this power play, that her connection to her spirit was in direct alignment with the angelic force and an ethereal source that ultimately kept her protected and guided in the dark, so that no matter what the plot was, the foul was her emotion, came by way of her emotional intelligence and her intuition. That's why they were almost there. They were an hour from you, but they didn't quite make it, because somehow, some way, this Queen of Cups, this High Priestess, always remains, 2 steps ahead of the game. All right. There's the Ace of Pentacles, and here's the Emperor. This is what was intended to harvest, this big gift here, this big come up on account of keeping this energy suppressed. And it would have afforded some high position of power and authority just to have, first of all, to have successfully achieved this outcome or this result. And then whatever benefit or reward that came on the back end of it, even in a material sense, would have elevated this character, this King of Swords or the King of Cups, both, if not one or the other, to some emperor status, just by way of accomplishment, and then, of course, by possession alone of whatever this gift was. Yeah, and that was the plan. Intended to conquer that gift fiercely, with the Knight of Swords, with some level of what do I usually say? Entitlement to this gift. There was this was the plan that was hatched, as if this gift should belong or would be better off in the hands of these masculine energies. It was, hashed out very fiercely to come toward, to carry out this plan in a very ferocious and maybe fast and furious way to acquire, whatever this reward is. Let's see, what else? Didn't quite turn over. I'm not going to take it. Hold on, my eyes itching. But it was laid to rest. Over ambitions for power is what, power and resources. Yep. To build some dynasty on account of false connections, or fraudulent collaborations, because lately the Two of Cups has been a bit of a question mark, for me. It's like, is it high vibrational? Is it not? On the vibe that this is on, there was a connection. Two of Wands, Two of Cups, there was some connection to overtake this. This was the outcome, if you can overpower this feminine energy, you can apprehend her gifts or apprehend her as a gift, depress her gifts, whatever, however you look to come up from this invested energy, what you could gain from it would ultimately lead to an overflow of wealth and abundance for that masculine energy. And there were partnerships in place to do it, to carry out this plan. But, the theme is that clearly it didn't, even from the very beginning, it didn't really amount to what was intended. Yeah, because now they're all fighting. They're all foolish or feeling foolish for their endeavors that didn't quite pan out the way that they had hoped. This could usually be a new journey, a new, setting out in some new faithful way, but he's headed right into chaos and confusion, because that, and under the King of Swords, no doubt, because that's what greed and dark work and energy leads you to. It leads you into your own manifestation of chaos and confusion and unnecessary competition. This was the competition for that energy source, but it all folds back into itself because it's unjustified for the sake of breadcrumb and community and taking most for yourself, creating this would-be balance. But in this regard, it's like, I'm hearing it's like proposing to be balanced, almost, what do I want to say, like exalting yourself in some position over resources to be able to get to say who gets some, who doesn't, and being in that position of power, you can rightfully do that, even with your own resources. This person wanted to be the man, pretty much, wanted to be the one to say, yeah, I'll give some to you, or no, I'm not giving that to you, or I'll give you a little bit, or I'm not giving you, it was something egotistical about this position of power and authority to be able to ultimately monopolize on resources in a way that he would then have power and control over, like literally have the people's prosperity in his hands, the control of that, to be able to decide who gets a little crumb and who doesn't, and if you felt like being nice one day, then everybody gets a little taste. But ultimately it was still monopolizing over energy that, number one, didn't belong to him, and number two, he didn't truly have the ordained authority to manage. No one has the right to manage energy in that way, especially when we're talking about people and the gifts of others and the prosperity of others, the productivity of others. You don't have the right to do that. That's a fool's journey, and it leads you to absolutely nowhere. All right, so let's see what else. No wonder it was hard for me to talk, because somebody don't want me to say what I'm saying. Yeah, and it leads back to square one. You thought you were going one way, but ultimately you ended up back at square one, literally in a childlike position, being lorded over and submissive to the very authorities that you wanted to exalt yourself to be. You know, like you wanted to play God in people's lives ultimately, and now you are the universe has put you in a child's place so you can actually see the value of your power, you know, to actually be humbled is what I hear, to the true essence of your power and authority, since what you were given you didn't do well with, you didn't, you know, exert an integrity. The universe is quick to humble you and say, you know, okay, I'm gonna bring you back down to one. Is hopefully you can start all over and start off on a better foot, but ultimately you won't continue on the path that you're on because it's unjustified for you to exalt yourself in a position to be superior to anyone unjustifiably. All right, we're gonna do a last card because this energy is wearing me out a little bit. Yeah, and that I'm gonna let it rock as what it came out to be. Yep, you're gonna meet your own demise. You know, that same energy is like, keep that same energy type of thing. You're going to meet exactly the same energy that you expelled ultimately, and you're in a much more humble, even with this 10 of Wands, wow, you're in a much more humble position of reception, you know, a kid up against a knight ultimately. So like you've been humbled down, and now those individuals that, or I won't, this isn't more so representative of those that were taken advantage of, or, you know, anyone that was a victim of this energetic force. Is more so him meeting himself in a sense, like literally having to face himself in that power of, you know, with the Knight of Wands, he can be a little bit rambunctious and a little heartless and just, you know, just forceful in ways that are devoid of thought and emotion. So like he isn't really sitting with his ideas to move forge ahead. He's just kind of impulsively doing so. And now it's like that energy that has expelled this strategic force is being met with that impulse himself. And you're much more vulnerable to meet that energy as a child up against a knight who's on a horse with this, you know, with the wand, you know, but it's like everything that you expelled, now you're going to experience, but even in a more docile and vulnerable state, perhaps, than even those that you victimized, you know, in a sense, which is tough. And that's what this card represents here. 10 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, major burdens, you know, and in this regard, it does imply that the card does imply itself that it's burdens that you carry willingly and that you can lay them down. And in a sense, that is still true, because much of the burden to bear is on account of what was chosen to expel, just to others. You know, it was projected to others, but it wasn't for others to carry. Those burdens have to come back to their origins. You know, it has to come back to sender ultimately. And this disparity here just magnifies the intensity of the reverse experience. That what you know, you're going to be experiencing 10 times more than what you even created, at least double with this 5 of Swords and 5 of Wands energy here. It's going to be expanded, you know, and it's going to be multiplied. What you have to overcome, perhaps with less resources and less support than, you know, those that experience what they did on account of you. The justice is for you to experience that in a heightened intensity, you know, just to pretty much balance the energy that you expelled. So you'll be in a more vulnerable state, facing more fierce adversity and having the stakes be much higher and harder to overcome in order for you to just even get to a solid ground, a stable ground. Yeah, all on account of holding on to energy that was not yours. That was not yours to hold on to. And also for being too materially focused and too materially oh, what's the right word I'm looking for? But the four of Pentacles is someone that's just like counting every penny. You know, they're always, it can be conservative and a high vibration, but it's also you just being too focused on what you have, you know, and on material essence of life, which is not all there is to life. There's more to life than how much money you have and what car you drive and what kind of house you have and what kind of clothes you wear. It's like very materialistic in this essence. And it's like those burdens are going to be carried, or maybe even are being carried accordingly based on what you pretty much imposed upon yourself. It was your energy, or this particular masculine energy's energy, to be so consumed by consumption, ultimately, that is consuming him, you know, and the actions that were taken on account of at the cost of others' energy and prosperity were all on account of greed here, overindulgence, greed, and material obsession is what the word that I've been trying to find, material obsession. And now, you know, the way that you were incited to take charge and to act and to plan and to carry out, you know, this endeavor for the sake of maintaining appearances ultimately, because what else is material obsession for but to present yourself as some high value, you know, prestigious individual to people that don't even matter, ultimately, with things that don't matter. But what's the value of it when it costs you your soul, you know, literally your energetic force, your creativity, to be diminished down to square one, you know, and for you to have to carry all of the burden of the energy that you expel just to look good, you know, just to say you the man. Well, yeah, you the man. You the man. And as I said, you almost made it. This almost went through, except for there was a caveat in the plan that the one that you thought was blocked and bound actually was just internally sound and was stabilizing her perspective from the inside out, getting to know the true value of her nature, which was not at all, you know, you were after the Queen of Pentacles. She's not even on the board. It was never about material possession. It was about spiritual possession, you know, literally being possessed, being able to say you possess the control of your spiritual force, of your creative force, that it is not controlled by anything or anyone outside of you. That's true clout. That's what brings true coin. That is prosperous beyond measure when you are secure within yourself and sound in spirit, mind, and body. And unfortunately, you almost made it. You probably did make it to some great esteem of prosperity and wealth and even position, but you just missed the mark by an hour. 1 hour away before you could have completely captured this energy and overtaken her power, overtaken her energy the way that you intended. But you just missed the mark just a little bit. And now it's time for you to get on your mark, get set, go back into the energy that you expelled. All right. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Till next time, peace.